Shocking whistleblower testimony revealing that Hunter Biden using his dad as leverage in his business deals. But when pressed about it, President Biden went back to that same answer he's used a number of times. That's a no.
GOP Senator John Kennedy sits on the Senate Judiciary Committee, and he joins us now. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good morning. Well, Senator, what do you think? Do you think they've ever discussed the businesses?
I think first that I don't want to live in a world without pizza. I'm really,
especially New York pizza.
I'm really sorry for the folks in New York. It's why people are leaving.
It's true.
We need new chimneys.
Yeah, they got to write a $20,000 check now.
To scrub their chimneys.
Yeah, I mean, if people keep leaving New York City, the average age is going to be deceased. And that just breaks my heart. In answer to your question about Mr. Hunter Biden, look, if the President Biden is so confident that he and his son did nothing wrong, then they should release all the documents. Here's what the American people want to know. They want to know two things. How did these Ukrainian and Chinese and Russian companies who gave Hunter Biden millions of dollars get his name? Why him? I'm pretty sure they didn't get his name off ZipRecruiter. Number two, what did Hunter Biden do for the money? Now, I think it's pretty clear that he appears to be selling influence. Was he successful? If he wasn't, why did they keep sending him millions and millions of dollars?
Yeah.
Those are fair questions. And President Biden needs to answer them. His Justice Department needs to answer them. And members of the media need to keep asking the questions. Unfortunately, not all of them are.
Senator, I get the sense that a lot of them were over on Friday. The Russia thing was a justified huge distraction. Got it. Then you have the Trump tapes come out, a little bit of a distraction. But this is a big story because the other thing is the IRS. You can't make $17 million and not pay any taxes. I mean, where is this money? He gets fined for not paying tax on $1.5 million. But we're talking about tens of millions of dollars. $5 million was delivered to him within 10 days after that terse email on the WhatsApp that's been exposed and not refuted. How do you do an IRS investigation and not to tax anybody?
Well, we have to find out. It's clear that the Justice Department let what's called the statute of limitations expire for some of Mr. Hunter Biden's more serious crimes. That means it's too late to file suit. We have whistleblowers who have come forward. Attorney General Garland, we haven't heard from FBI Director Wray, but Attorney General Garland says they're lying. Somebody's lying.
Chris Wray's coming into the Senate, though.
Or the Attorney General.
Chris Wray is coming in.
And we need to, well, then we need to hear from the FBI Director, and they need to produce the documents, come testify under oath, and to the extent that they're willing, the whistleblowers need to come. The American people need an answer.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about your day job in the Senate. The Senate Homeland Security Committee, the Democrat side, has released a report that says that in the run-up to January 6th, there were a number of intel agencies in the United States that had information that something bad was going to happen, and they did not act on it. What do you make of that?
We haven't had an opportunity to have a real objective analysis of what happened on January 6th before and after. What the Democrats in the House did was basically a partisan car wreck. I mean, we only got half of the information. Republicans were excluded. There have been no attempts in the Senate by Senator Schumer. I think what we need is an objective look, if necessary, by some nonpartisan outside experts. The American people would like to know. But it's gotten so politicized. I mean, I was there on the 6th. It was an abomination. I'm sorry that it happened. I wish it hadn't happened. Right. But we're entitled to know, the American people, or why it happened, and if federal government had advance notice, and if so, why it wasn't better prepared. I just don't think any of that's unreasonable, but it's all shot through with politics now.
Yeah. Some of these people posted on Parler, and Parler called the FBI and said, you need to read some of these posts. And one of the posts said, don't be surprised if we take the Capitol building, and it was #Capitol. So if anyone looked up Capitol, they were seeing that. Maybe that's why many of them went down there. They were notified. The FBI then advised Capitol Police and Washington Metro Police to prepare for a normal rally. You want to ask about Russia?
I just don't know why the Justice Department and the leadership in the House and Senate and the FBI won't just tell the American people the truth. The institutions in Washington are not going to regain their integrity in the eyes of the American people until they start telling the truth. And I'm afraid the problem is that all these people think the American people are morons. Now, it's true the American people don't read Aristotle every day because they're too busy earning a living. Yeah. And they may be poorer under Joe Biden, but they're not stupid. They get that something is very, very wrong in all this, and it upsets them that they, on both sides, that they can't get any answers.
Well, if you don't want any answers, go to Robert Hur's investigation of Biden. It's quiet as anything. But on the other side, it's nonstop leaks. Real quick, we saw the unbelievable drama that took place over the weekend as the Wagner Group stopped 175 miles from Moscow. Nothing was standing in their way. Vladimir Putin now making it clear that those people will pay that did what they did unless you want to be folded back into the military. How does that, in your mind, affect the Ukraine war and our dedication to it? A lot of people like Will Hurd says, get them the ATACMS, get them the planes, let them win. What do you think?
I think when you're in a war and you get your enemy down, you ought to choke your enemy to death. Now, Putin is scrambling. Now is the time for America to supply what the Ukrainians need, and let's go win this thing. I wish we were getting more help from Europe, but we've had to carry the load. If it weren't for the United States of America, Putin would be in Paris by now. But it is what it is. Let's go win this thing and break Putin's back. And with it, President Xi in China.
And that's all in our national interest. It's not just for Ukraine. It's in America's interest.
This isn't charity. This is in America's national interest. I don't want to live in a world run by Putin and Xi and the Ayatollah in Iran.
Yep. And speaking of winning, your LSU topped Florida in the College World Series in baseball. Congratulations, Senator.
Thanks, my friend. It was a great series. Last two games over, what, 40, 45 runs?
Yes.
Big.
How about those Tigers? How about those Tigers?
Senator Kennedy, thank you.
Thank you, Senator.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.